Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Yugen. Today we're going to see what's going to be the best stocks for this week. We're going to do a market analysis of the Bitcoin and also my portfolio. So stay around. Before we start the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Only 6.2% of my viewers are subscribers, so don't forget to smash that button. So let's get back to the video. So for this week, we're not going to see 15 stocks as we've seen last week. We're going to see only 2 stocks. I recommend you to check my previous video. Therefore, we're going to start the week with BDN, which is a Brandywine Realty Trust. They have a dividend yield of 5.66%. They pay quarterly January, April, July, and October. They are undervalued in 43.6%. The ex-dividend date is going to be October 5th, and the financial health we have achieved. The market sentiment is an old, but the future growth is going to be minus 19.7%, which is quite bad, although they had an increase from the last year around 45%, and I do think this is due to the fact that most of the people now are working remotely. Therefore, some companies are trying to reduce the office costs, so they are moving and changing the location or even cutting completely those costs. So that's why we have seen some impact in terms of the future growth for this stock. Although the 43%, I don't know if it's going to balance with the future growth though. So I'm going to see here still a decrease on the stock. I do recommend, if you're going to buy this stock, to invest for at least 2 or 3 years, because you're not going to get any growth for the next year. AT&T, the ticker T, it's really well known, and I already spoke about this stock in the past. I recommend you to check my previous video, Looney Merge, where I talk about AT&T and the merge with Discovery, where they're going to buy off of around 45% of the entire company, which is going to be merged with Warner Brothers and Discovery, and that's going to create a new company. I hope that new company is going to be a little bit more competitive with the Discovery Plus, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, and we can get some gains from there if you already have this stock and if you don't want to sell. The dividend yield is going to be 7.59% until when we don't know, so there's going to be some reservations here. So be aware that this stock is going to be down for the next upcoming years or months to around 4.5%, which is almost the same price as Verizon Telecom. In terms of the merge and the new companies, what's going to happen, don't expect to receive any dividends from those, because as Netflix and Amazon, they don't pay you any dividends, so don't expect to receive dividends from that. So there's going to be quite interesting things that's going to be happening with the stock. If you want to invest, it's good because they are undervalued 71%. The future growth is going to be around 13%, which is good, but don't expect that dividend is going to continue to be 7.59%. Although I do have AT&T on my portfolio, I'm expecting with this merge then to increase with the new company, increase those stocks and then sell AT&T in the future, or continue if they continue to pay the 4.50%, which is quite interesting. So they pay quarterly, January, April, July, and October. They are undervalued in 71%, as already mentioned. The ex-dividend day is going to be on 7th of October, and the financial health is going to be a B, where the liabilities is around 80 billion, and in terms of assets, it's going to be around 60 billion. So we have a difference around 20 billion, but bear in mind that Discovery is going to buy around 40 billion of liabilities from AT&T, so the stock may grow as well, and as well AT&T, the new company that we still don't know the name. So that's why we have a market sentiment of a stronghold, and in terms of the future growth is going to be 13%. So now let's have a look into the SP500 and into the Bitcoin. As I mentioned in the past week, we did that in fact went down a little bit more. I didn't expect so much, but we reached the 4,300. Although I think this tendency is going to continue to go, because the MACD is telling me that we are going to continue down for at least around the $4,300. Although we are still see here a new curve, probably is going to happen the same thing as we have here. It's going to be a false trap, or what is called a false bear trap, and then we probably going to have a bull market more towards the end of the month. Not expect this to be a positive next week. So having this in consideration, have money in balance, and do some average on your existing stocks, or buy other stocks that you have on the dip, which I did recommend this a few weeks back, and check that video as well, and how you can do it, and how you can do some screening in terms of what stocks to buy at that time. So as I mentioned last week, the BTC is going to be the new gold, and we are seeing now a tendency on the markets. There are some shifts from the precious materials into BTC and other cryptos. We have at the moment the Bitcoin at $47,000. We may reach the resistance at the $50,000, but as you've seen here, we had here a false breakout, and then we had a fall, and probably we're going to maintain here until we have a real breakout. We're now starting to see here a shift on the MACD. We're starting to see a bull market. Until when that's going to happen, I don't know, but we still need to have the real breakout here. We need to have more consolidation. Until that happen, we're going to be around the 45, 50k, around those values in this bandwidth. And we still don't have here too much of volume as we had in the past. Probably we start to see more volume towards this month, more towards the end of the year. I hope that this is going to reach again the 60,000 as we reach in April, May, but there are still too many things going on until then. Point more until the end of the year, more December, to reach the 60,000. And I'm being here a little bit conservative, as I like to be. I don't like to say that's going to reach the 100,000 this year. I doubt that that's going to happen. Probably next year that will happen, but this year I really don't think so. So if you want to copy all my trades, you can do it by go to eToro and copy all my trades. You can search by my nickname, Kenite, and I recommend you to copy all my open trades. And you can do some simulations of your copy with the spreadsheet that I'm going to show you at the end of this video. In terms of portfolio performance, we have the US market with a decrease of 3.4%. My portfolio went down with only 0.9%. Of course, at the end of the month, we had a negative 3%, which others had around minus 6% and 10% in some cases. The portfolio since inception had a profit and loss around 10.86%, so we had an increase here of around 0.4 points from last week, and the portfolio return had in the past 12 months had a return of 22.01%. So we had here an increase as well of 1%. In terms of the top stocks, we still have AIG, International Consolidated Airlines, and BP, the top two as last week. So last week, International Consolidated Airlines had the increase of 14%. Now we have an increase of 7%. And BP as well had the increase of 3% around that. And now we have an increase of 5.54%. In terms of Chevron, had the increase as well around 1.39%. Energy Transfer 0.95%. Pembina Pipeline increase of 0.8%. So we had the energy sector with a big increase comparing from other stocks that they went down quite a lot. Some of them around 20%, as Alibaba, but that's a different story, is because of Chinese market. So in terms of indicators and actions, we had the payments of AMZA. We didn't have any acquisitions for this week. We did still have Open Order, Store, SDIV, R, and Alibaba. So all of them went down more than 5%. So I decided to open orders to do some average. In terms of closed orders, we didn't have none. In terms of averaging for this week, we had PFF, QYLD, PBI, DIV, and the top payers is still AMZA. The top dividend yield is still QYLD with 11.8%, and my portfolio went up from 45% from last week to being undervalued in around 50.9%. This is due to the stocks went down quite a lot, so that's why the portfolio is undervalued in so high value. In terms of portfolio future growth, we had here an increase as well from 8.5% to 9.7% for this week. The stocks with the highest volatility is still Main, and the lowest is still Unilever. So now let's have a look into the spreadsheet. So if you are seeing the spreadsheet for the first time, don't forget that you can invest here the $5,000, and then here is the value that you're going to get for the percentage that you get for each transaction. Of course, this may vary with the total amount that you're going to get, and in terms of payments, how much you're going to receive per month. And here at the end, you can see how much you're going to receive per month and per year. So in terms of actions for this week, we had here the payment of AMZA, and We had here the payment of QILD and Realm as well. So this was what we received for this week. And here we have the average that we're going to receive per month. And in terms of portfolio diversification, we have in terms of balance around 2.3%, in terms of UK stocks around 9.3%, in terms of ETFs around 20.9%, crypto 4.7%, US stocks around 58.1%, and Chinese stocks around 4.7%. Bear in mind that the Chinese stocks I'm including here as well the ETF MXi, which has a really big impact with the Chinese market. I'll put it here as a Chinese stock instead of an ETF. In terms of dividends versus growth stock, my portfolio had increased from 7% from last week to 3.98%. So those 3 points, percentual points, had a decrease in terms of growth stocks from 29 that we had from last week to 26.2% that we have this week. So there's going to be a shift because usually the stocks with dividends are more stable than other stock as growth stocks. So that's why we have like ARK Invest, the big decrease around 15%. Actually, I've sold those stocks right in the right time. We still 30%, I think, or 15% of profit from last month before the market correction. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed these tips. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like. That will going to help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And once again, thank you, cheers, and see you next week.